Discipline does not mean choking anybody.
NIFT Patna has definitely risen in recognition. What was your first priority when stepping into this academic leadership role here when you joined?
I wanted to give a sense of complete freedom.
What does etiquette mean to you in today's world, especially in the professional space?
I would like to now break it into three parts.
Etiquette mistake you can't stand.
People not being humble. If there are spelling mistakes, that conveys that you're taking things casually.
Few etiquette fundamentals that every young professional should follow.
Only if you are disciplined will you take that harder path, and that is when you will have your originality.
What one quality or maybe two qualities that you believe are non-negotiable in a great leader today?
A leader needs to be genuine. Always the team leader has to take the responsibility. Learn and absorb everything to the maximum. You never know which part of the jigsaw puzzle is going to fit in which part of your life, where and at what point of time. But your subconscious will throw it up, and that is where the right piece will fall into place at the right time. And that is where hard work and luck meets destiny.
What's one military grade habit they can start tomorrow to improve their presence or voice? With Colonel Rahul Sharma unfolds practical wisdom from lived experience. Namaste and hello to everyone. Welcome to India's first and only podcast dedicated to image, style psychology and first impression. I'm your host Ruchi, a fashion technologist turned image consultant and founder of Poised Presence. Here, we don't just talk fashion, we talk about identity, presence and the art of intentional dressing. Meet our today's guest, who is a distinguished leader whose career reflects both discipline and vision. Colonel Rahul Sharma, a senior defense officer since last 29 years in diverse roles in the army. And he's currently the director of prestigious National Institute of Fashion Technology, Patna, since January 2023. He has proven ability in leadership, administration, and human resource management, amongst others. His unwavering dedication to duty has earned him several commendations from the highest level of leadership during his service. He holds multiple academic qualifications, and that shows his love for academics, including a diploma in business and marketing management from Symbiosis Pune, a MDP from IIM Indore, an MA in journalism and mass communications, and MSc in defense studies. With his presence at NIFT Patna has seen new heights and is now ranked the top 5th design schools in India by the Outlook Survey 2025. And also the 6th best design school in the country in the India Today Survey 2025. A believer in lifelong learning, he's passionate about keeping pace with emerging technologies and AI. Sustainability is his interest too. His vision is rooted in positively contributing to India's academic landscape. Today, we'll talk about two major pillars of an professional image and an impactful presence, and those are etiquettes and leadership. And who else can be better than him to learn and gauge the wisdom of how to lead with presence and how to lead with clarity, purpose and impact across sectors. This conversation with Colonel Rahul Sharma unfolds practical wisdom from lived experience. Whether you're a student, a professional, or someone simply seeking more structure in your overall life, this one is packed with essential key takeaways on etiquette and leadership you would want to carry forward. Now, over to you, Mr. Rahul. The first question that I have is more about you, about your journey. So you have had a long and transformative career before entering academia. What was that pivotal moment for you, or maybe that led you to transition into leading a premier fashion institute in India and like NIFT Patna, and also, what are those aspects of experience that you think is playing major role when you're leading?
Thank you, Ruchi ji, firstly, for having me on your podcast. So, during my school days, I had a number of close friends of mine who after finishing their schooling, they joined NIFT, and I have been following their trajectory since then, and they are still my close friends. And during my college days, I had also worked in the fashion industry on a part-time basis. So for those 3 years, I had some experience, and that was in Gurgaon at New Delhi. Thereafter, I took my own path. But at some point in life, I realized that there is something more, something different. My heart says that I should be doing, and that is when I saw this opportunity in the newspaper with the opening at NIFT, and I applied for it, and I gave the interview, and rest is destiny. So I'm a firm believer of destiny, and then I just got selected and I joined NIFT.
Oh, wow, this is like then you had a calling from design and creativity since long, I would say.
Yes.
And finally, so first of all, I think it's a blessing, and I think we all, as being a NIFT alumni, I too feel very blessed, and I would say very thankful for people like you joining. As the director,
it is always good to have somebody not in this exact industry also joining, so that they get a very fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And that infuses a spirit of a spirit of newness, and things which people might overlook, but somebody who's from outside gives a very fresh look.
All right, thank you for helping us understand your journey and also your transition to this. Okay, so the next question to you is, looking back, what values or disciplines from your earlier professional life have helped you most in nurturing your creative professionals now at NIFT?
Yeah. So with the given background that I have, discipline is something which will come to your mind the foremost, or anybody's mind. So discipline is always there. And then we were used to living in a structured life, in a structured way, and thereafter always working in a team. So that is very important, that it is inbuilt that we work in a team, and we have a vision for the future. So the same things are very much applicable here. So even if you are in a creative field, it is fine, but you have to approach it with a sort of personal discipline, and that can be translated here, and I can pass that on to my students, which I do. Thereafter, teamwork is something which they need to understand. Without that, being successful will only be a little more difficult. And thereafter, to also have a vision for what they're intending to do. Their short-term vision, long-term vision. So that is all that I try and pass on to each and every student that I interact with.
Yeah, but with this, I think you mentioned the three. I think they are the pillars of any kind of success.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's one thing, maybe a myth, I would say, that discipline and creativity don't go together. I mean, people often view this like this. So, what is your say on that? How to keep that balance of it?
Very good that you touched upon that. Now, I would like to differ, because I believe that one has to be very disciplined to be a very successful or a successful fashion designer also. Now I'll tell you how. I'll just give an example. I have met so many purists who are, their life is dedicated to being original, and they want to take the harder path and not the easier way in life. So if you are disciplined, you will always walk the path. For example, if you are working on a design methodology, so you will do your research properly. You will ideate, then thereafter you will make those mood boards, then you will do the market research, you will do the cultural research, then you will go back 2 steps if it is not working out. And that's how you will make each and every one of your creations. And it is not easy at all. It is far easy to just pick up an idea from somewhere and not be original, and take a shortcut. So you understand what I'm saying. So only if you are disciplined will you take that harder path, and that is when you will have your originality, and that is when you will make your own brand, and you will be someone of your own and not a copy. So that's where discipline walks in the door.
So it's like discipline is the key to authenticity.
Key to authenticity, absolutely. It's pure hard work, backed by this personal discipline in life. Yeah.
So that is something which you like really explained with all those examples. I think it really helps us understand
Yes.
that both can go together. Creativity and discipline can go together to build more and more authenticity.
Yeah,
To what
discipline does not mean choking anybody. Discipline does not mean that, people walk in a line or they're sitting quietly in class. That is not the discipline I'm talking about. The discipline in creativity is what I'm talking about. Otherwise, whatever anybody can think of freedom is what you will get at NIFT Patna in
Yeah.
every way.
Definitely, that resonates in the entire aura and the vibe, I would say.
Yes.
I mean, take it as a compliment from a NIFT alumni that
Thank
that
you.
freedom of air and I would say the diversity is also felt. I remember attending the Janmashtami festival last
Yes,
time,
yes.
and it was a whole new NIFT Patna that I saw, which was beautiful, and I think like it was filled with the creative minds and the energy that
Yes.
all were bringing in a. I think it was one of the first times I heard that Janmashtami is being celebrated.
Yeah,
in
it was the
NIFT.
first time.
So it was just, so it resonates here. I think your vision of
Yes.
bringing in discipline with creativity is something that is definitely a new
Yeah,
perspective.
I want my students to take the harder path. That's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I think it was one of the most practical way of understanding how
Yes.
and what it is and
Yes.
how to go together with it. So, having talked about your journey and especially balancing your values, I mean bringing in your values to NIFT Patna, we would love to move on to the next part of it, which is about etiquette, having your background and of course leading from such long time. We would love to understand from you how etiquette influences credibility, communication, and personal brand in professional settings, right? So, because personal brand is one of the, I think, most important things, not from today, but from earlier, but now it's more visible. So, how etiquette plays an important role? And the very first question is, what does etiquette mean to you in today's world, especially in the professional spaces? For you,
Yeah.
what's your definition?
So this will be a very slightly longish answer, but see, etiquette is not what we used to term etiquette in the earlier times, maybe say just a couple of decades ago. I would like to now break it into three parts. One would be the in-person etiquette. The second would be the virtual etiquette, say if you're attending a VC or something. And third etiquettes would be in the digital world, in which most of us now live and correspond. So if we start with the in-person etiquettes, there are very basic things. Firstly, you should be always punctual. That gives a message that you respect not only your own time and yourself, but you respect the other person's time, which is very important. Then be turned out and be dressed appropriately as per the company's culture. So do your little bit of research on what the company is all about. Maybe they are formal, so don't turn up in flip-flops and wearing casual clothes. That may not work there. And always be clear, concise, to the point. Don't gossip about anybody. These are all parts of the in-person etiquettes. So also there will be many other things, but that we can talk about for a long time. But yes, but if we talk about the virtual etiquettes. So be in time when you log in for any VC, for example, and just check your tech if everything is working properly. Sometimes what happens, people log in and then you're not heard and they say the mic is not working or something. Be there, check your tech, don't be muted if you're talking, Switch on your camera. Don't be distracted by your mobile phones, and be attentive, be engaged. All these are, etiquettes for, in the virtual world. And lastly, in the digital world, follow those basic tenets of being a little respectful with some kind of, you start with some kind of salutation, be little formal, you sign off properly, you introduce yourself properly, don't have too many emojis in a message. All this is in the professional sphere. So don't have too many, asterisks and, dots and emojis, like I said. And then be, clear in what you're trying to communicate, and please proofread what you have written. If there are spelling mistakes, that conveys that you're taking things casually and does not, respect the other person. So, so these are the etiquettes nowadays that we,
I think, thank you so much for bringing it and breaking it down into three parts, because I think the virtual and the digital is the major part of all our professional or personal lives. So it's super important to, take care of, and I think be considerate, as you said.
Yes.
Be considerate about not just being, following or being in etiquette when in person, but also these little things when you're virtually present. Because I think one thing that I also discussed in my last podcast, and he was an HR leader, and we were talking this only, that
yes,
when you're in person, it's comparatively easy to convey the emotions. Maybe, for example, you are, little bit not groomed, but you can explain. A lot of things says, but in virtual, it's even more crisp. You have less time to convey your professionalism. So over there, you have to be more careful than in person.
Yes.
Because in person has a lot of other cues too.
Yeah, in person, there's a body language, it's the tone in which you are speaking. But in the digital world, you have to compensate for all that by being very concise and clear in what you're trying to say, so that you're not misunderstood at any point.
Yes, true. We'll move on to the next question, which is more about the non-verbal cues. So what are the top 3 behavioral cues beyond clothing that shape an employee's first impression of a graduate or maybe any professional in the professional world? So what are those some behavioral cues that you would like to share with the young and any professional?
So Ruchi ji, I would like to begin by saying that we all need to understand that at the end of the day, we are all energy, and before we interact with anybody, in a very subtle manner, our energy is seen or perceived by the other person. So as soon as you walk into a room, like you said, it is beyond clothing, but the other person does get to feel your energy. So anyone who is enthusiastic about what he's wanting to do, if he's genuinely passionate, that energy will be conveyed. So that is something most of us don't realize, that you cannot fake it to make it. You have to be genuine, and then that's when the energy transfer and the other person gets that cue without the other person knowing about it. So that is one. Secondly is the way you communicate. It has to be very clear, very concise, very well researched. It must be something which clearly conveys what why you are there, what are you intending to say, and gives the other person a sense of confidence that this person that who I'm interacting with knows what he's saying or she is saying, and that gives value to that interaction. So lastly is the thing about demonstrative proactiveness and taking initiative. So if a person walks into an office after doing research on that company or whatever is the meeting about, and generally understands what the talk is going to be about, so that is seen by everyone. So basically there are 3 things. Firstly is the energy you get, it is how you communicate, and lastly is about how much genuine proactiveness you have shown, what are the initiatives that you take before anybody can lead you to the water, like they say.
And I think that sets you apart even in this competitive world of
Yes.
For one position there are so many people, but how you are different, and these are some of the ways you can be different. So with this, I just remember this example. So when I was placed from NIFT to my first company, and that was a fashion tech,
Yeah.
and they were picking very handful from India. So we got selected. There were 8 rounds, and a lot of things happened. And I went and I asked the hiring manager that, what was that one thing, because we were so many people. And he actually mentioned each one of us, ours qualities due to which he selected. Because he was like, see Ruchi, you had the same education, right? You had almost marks up and down, little bit here and there, everything is there. But what is it that is something in you which is not in anyone? So he liked one part of me, and that was I did. So I started working since my second year. I started doing part-time job into HR. It was a European startup. So he said that one thing that I saw, and that was proactiveness. That was being ahead and taking that initiative, which maybe not others are taking. So when you say this, I totally recall my 9 years back experience.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I could relate it that it sets you apart.
Yeah.
That one initiative which maybe no one has taken, which you are the first one to take, or maybe you are among many, but you're taking it. I think that sets you apart.
Yeah, I always tell my students, go beyond the curriculum.
Yes.
Skill yourself every day, be focused, and it will all show.
Yes.
Whenever you end up in a situation where you are competing with others. It will all show. And not only that, you will be a better person.
Yeah, you will learn something in the journey.
will learn.
No matter it's related or not, you will learn through the journey.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a very strong one. Thanks for, I think that just brought the nostalgia of me going back 9 years. But I totally agree. It's super important to set you apart and being the better version of yourself every day.
Absolutely.
We kind of encapsulated what it means through etiquette and the behavioral cues. One last thing, and which is majorly for the younger professionals, and that is our students. So before students step into the professional world, some key grooming or etiquette checkpoints you emphasize on particularly, or you would give as a message to the students, maybe before an interview or anything.
Yeah. So before you land up for an interview in specific, if we talk about that, so be personally well groomed, but not over the top. Wear formal clothes, not too many accessories for girls. If you're putting on some kind of fragrance or perfume, it should be very subtle. It should not be too much. And in the fashion industry, it matters about what kind of textile, what kind of clothes you're wearing. It conveys a message. So be formal, be subtle. So that is about personal grooming. Secondly, be prepared for the interview. Research about the company. Now we come to some non-verbal communicative aspects. So as soon as you walk into a room, be confident, shake hand confidently, or even if you don't want to shake hands, but just say something. Namaste if you want, or good morning, in whichever way, but in a very confident manner. Maintain eye contact. That conveys confidence. And be clear and concise about what you say. Thereafter, once you are in the interview and you are talking about certain things, so communicate your vision clearly. It should show that you have researched about the job role for which you are applying, and you are passionate about it. You are genuine about it, because everything can be seen in a way. There's nothing that you can really hide. And there are things, like I said, there are some things which are not said, but those things always reach the other person. So it is a very fine balance of physical presence, of non-verbal cues, of your dressing sense, your personal grooming, your research, your confidence in your way of communicating. All these factors come together to make you as a package which anyone would like to value and select and to be part of their company.
You explained it very holistically, because in our image industry also we talk about the ABCs of image: appearance, behavior, and communication.
All right.
All these three come up together to make the image, and that forms the first impression, right?
Yes.
And so when you like bifurcate it, it's like all coming up together: your appearance, the clothes you wear, the way you speak, the way you look, the way you stand, the way you
And
show
I would also want to add, it is your CV, what you have on the table. But you should not be repeating things out of your CV. He's already read that. You have to add on to it and substantiate it. You have to sort of build upon it. It should be something more than what you have written. CV should, like we all know, should be just about a page or so. But then there are so many things which you are not able to convey in a CV. That is what you should convey when you meet.
yes.
And
That's the chance for you to showcase what.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And another thing, like they said, it's the first 3 minutes and the other person has made up his mind. But I believe it is not even 3 minutes. Maybe it is the first 60 seconds of an interaction in which your prospective, whoever is interviewing you, will make up his mind. And thereafter, it is just going through the motions. So I would say less than a minute is when everything is said and not said.
Totally agree. And in fact, in the first impression science, it says that it takes 7 seconds to make a first impression.
True.
And just imagine, in that 7 seconds, your 55% is your non-verbal. The other aspect, and 7% is what you speak.
Very good.
So just imagine, without even in 7 seconds, the 7% is just what you speak, else everything is all these we are talking about.
Yes.
So, of
and
course.
I keep telling my students, you have to work on yourself. Stand in front of a mirror, speak and see, or maybe nowadays, just record yourself on your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Just buy a stand and record yourself, how you walk, how you walk into a room, how you are sitting down, how you are introducing yourself, and you yourself will see yourself and make up your mind. So you will realize. Do it on a very regular manner, and that is part of self-improvement.
Yes.
Work on yourself. Work on your diction. Work on your vocabulary. Work on your non-verbal cues.
You have mentioned repetitively about it that
Yes.
it's important to be crisp and clear.
Yes.
And concise, and I think that's a practice.
That is the art.
That
Which comes by practice, because some people say few words and convey a lot. That is the art which is practiced over years and refined.
yes, and I think that's a beautiful tip that you have given to, like, you are convey to your students about recording themselves, practicing, because again it comes with time. It's not that one day they'll get a session, they'll get this wisdom. Absolutely. It's an everyday practice that they'll keep on evolving and improving.
Yes.
So this is for everyone. Practice makes a man perfect, we all know. So it's good to self-practice, see yourself, and just ask this question: if you were the other side, will you be going with this person who was speaking to?
Absolutely.
And then you'll get the answer where you need to improve on. So yeah, I think with this we kind of beautifully wrap the etiquette part, and that we'll step into a little bit about the leadership and transition, because you being leading since so many years and into different aspects of domains, we would love to understand certain aspects of leadership from you. So the very first question on the leadership is: you have guided teams through change, creativity and growth in your experience, past and present. What truly defines a good leader beyond just authority or title for you?
Yeah. So first of all, you need to inspire your team. And you can only inspire if you yourself believe in the mission or whatever is your vision. So if you believe in yourself, you will inspire your team, and thereafter you will work as a team, which is sort of teamwork. But it is not the what you have to do, it is the why we are doing as a team what we are doing. And once you get your team along with you, yes, definitely you will achieve results much more than what you would even expect. So that is the first thing. Second would be that you empower your colleagues. You delegate and not only give them that power to decide and take decisions, but also be a part of their growth journey. So if they feel that they are getting value out of it and they are also growing as a person or in their professional life, in whichever way, if they are also growing, then they will willingly be part of that team. The next I would say would be EQ. EQ is a very important part of leadership. So a person needs to be extremely sensitive and have a very high level of EQ if you are to be a good leader of any team. So that is it. And empathize with all your team members. Everyone has their own journey. They have their own challenges. Don't assume anything. So you will be surprised that even if you take some people at face value, but later on you realize something more about them and you feel that you judge them maybe a little harshly or in whichever way. But everybody has a journey. So be empathetic to whatever their journey is about, and then support them in their way, in their journey, and they will also be a part of your team very willingly. So these are a few points I would say that a good leader should have.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with all the points, and not only agree, we all agree, and not only me, because empathy is something which builds trust. So this is one lesson that that always remained with me from Harvard when I was studying, that without trust there's nothing, and empathy I think helps you get that trust from your team member.
Yeah, and I also want to add that always the team leader has to take the responsibility. Like they say, success has many fathers, failure has none. So if your team is successful, attribute that entire success to your whole team.
Yeah.
And but if there is any failure, the leader has to take the complete responsibility and also be responsible and accountable. So all these factors are very important.
That is a very strong point actually, that celebrating the wins in open and taking
Yes.
the criticism, the responsibility
Alone.
it's tough to practice that.
Yes.
But yeah, and now we get the key to why NIFT Patna is rising to its heights, the key to the leadership.
It's kind of.
So, understanding your leadership style and also, your aspects and I would say your thought points around leadership, NIFT Patna has definitely risen in recognition. What was your first priority when stepping into this academic leadership role here when you joined? What was that one priority that you just envisioned to work on?
I wanted to give a sense of complete freedom. I wanted everyone to speak up, and I wanted everyone to speak their mind, and I wanted to be accessible at all points of time, not only by all the 1,800 students, but everyone at NIFT Patna. So I encouraged everyone to speak up, and that is what I feel made the difference. So it is not a one-way leadership. So if now everyone is part of the team, everyone feels that they belong to this campus, this organization, and they have a stake in it. So that is the one first thing which I did.
Wow. And that's what it brings the energy to the entire campus. Definitely. So yeah, and so moving on to the next, I won't repeat the question of the discipline and creativity because we have already catered that and got a very, I would say, different perspective from Mr. Rahul on that. So the next one is, what's one tough leadership decision you made here when you came and that paid off?
Yeah, so one leadership decision that I made was not only to give everyone a feeling of empowerment, but also to open up NIFT Patna to all our neighboring institutions in Bihar. I walked up to each and every head of the institution, met them, and also invited them to come over to NIFT Patna, and I signed a host of MOUs. I opened NIFT to the government of Bihar and started working with them on various projects. And that is what I feel was a bold step to take, because till that point of time, we were not really doing that. So I think that made a huge difference. So instead of being a very exclusive walled society or a community inside NIFT Patna, I opened up the doors to a number of new exposures that not only our faculty got but all the students also got on a very regular basis.
Yeah, that's something which I would just like to feel great about, because
Thanks.
because the kind of education, especially creativity and design, it needs to blend in with different thoughts. It can't flourish when contained in a
Yes.
boundary, right?
Yes.
So I think this step not just brought opportunities, but it also brought a lot of exchange of ideas and the freedom of the thought that a course, I would say, a domain like design needs. The exchange of minds, and that happens when you open the boundaries and doors to
Yes.
everyone.
True.
So that's
Because yes, till that point of time, there was a thought process which said that we are exclusive, very niche community. So and would like to stay, in an isolated way. But that was a decision that I took, that no, we will definitely step outside. We will meet people from all walks of life. Let it be, people from the Bihar Museum, let it be from IIM, IITs, AIMS, Bihar government, the Department of Art and Culture, or the Department of Industries, which actually resulted in our, getting our auditorium also sanctioned, which we still don't have, but now it has been sanctioned. So unless you don't go out and meet even the law, Chanakya Law University, so if you meet people with every walk of life, everyone will add value to your knowledge and to your experiences in life.
Yeah, I think this is a very big learning on an institute level, but I think on an individual level too.
Yeah.
That if you open yourself to the learnings into all the aspects, you're gonna have that knowledge from all the aspects. So, thank you.
It will also teach our students adaptability.
Oh.
So how to interact with every person in every walk of life.
Yeah, I think it's the holistic growth.
Holistic personality development.
Yeah, which is not even like, it can't be seen in that one go, but it can be felt over a period of time.
Yes.
That this has happened.
Yeah, like I always tell my students, learn and absorb everything to the maximum. You never know which part of the jigsaw puzzle is going to fit in which part of your life, where and at what point of time. But your subconscious will throw it up, and that is where the right piece will fall into place at the right time. And that is where hard work and luck meets destiny.
Yeah.
That is what they have to understand.
Yes.
So it is not that if they are, if they are learning something and they say it is not relevant to me. You never know what is relevant at what point of time.
Yes. With this, I remember. So I was doing this podcast with a lady. She's a leadership coach, and her father is into army, who is now retired. So she mentioned one example from her father's experience, that one of his colleagues mentioned that हम लोगों को ट्रेनिंग और बंदूक चलाना इसलिए भी नहीं सिखाते कि हमेशा हम लोगों को we have to attack. But what if it happens? What we have to be ready for that.
Yes.
So all the learnings that you do is not because you are gonna apply it, but what if it comes?
Yeah.
You have to be ready for it.
Yes.
So that's what she mentioned from me, and she just blended that example into how like it's important for us to be presentable, because you never know when you bump into which opportunity.
Exactly.
So it's like learning things for the right opportunity, right time maybe. Not thinking कि अच्छा ये काम आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है, it's not relevant.
Exactly.
So I totally, and I think that's a very broader aspect of wisdom that you're helping students get, that don't restrict just to academics, which you mentioned earlier also. Just open yourself to different kind of learnings.
Correct.
And everything. So yeah, I think that answers a lot of the approaches that's being taken here, and which of course says a lot about your leadership and what are those qualities that a leader should have. Now, going on contrary to that, there's something that I would love to know from you. What one quality or maybe two qualities that you believe are non-negotiable in any leaders, in a great leader today? I mean, in today's era, you mentioned what are the things that a leader should have. What are some non-negotiables for you, like personally, which you think doesn't work?
Okay, so first of all, a leader needs to be genuine because you can fool some people for some time, but not all the people for all the time.
Wow.
That's an old saying, but it is very true. So be genuine. There is no shortcut to that. You have to be. And secondly, be visible. Walk the talk also. Whatever you are saying, kindly lead by example. So you cannot have a dual nature. If you have to be a leader for a longer time, then definitely. And in that way, I think I admire our Prime Minister a lot. He is what he is. He's visible. He walks the talk. So I think we can pick up cues from there. So every good quality in a leader you can see in our Prime Minister as of today.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, leading by example is something which is very important. And I think I've seen that in you. When I came in, that one thing I think I've mentioned on my LinkedIn also, that one thing that I noticed about him when I was here, and with due respect, I would like to mention that there was this entire thing, cheer up happening for the, for Handi ka, to break it and things. And he was standing amongst the crowd cheering the students and then also weeping if someone was falling down. So that was something which I saw, that, a leader has to step on the ground and be among the crowd. Not be shielded in that, the position and the power, but being on the ground with your people to cheer them up and cry with them and celebrate with them. And that's how people then connect with you.
Correct.
So that is one learning which I still have with me, and I really thank you for.
So kind of you.
And that just stuck with me. That one scenario is still there with me forever. So yeah, okay. How do you motivate a team when things aren't working? I mean, is there any mantra that you follow? Is there any principle that you follow, your own style, which kind of just motivates them?
Yes, my style, I would say, is that I would take everyone back to why we started it all. And that is not my, I have also picked that up from various industry leaders and reading their autobiographies. So whenever you run into a wall, just take a step back, a few steps back with your whole team. Go back to the moment when you decided to take a path and just see that vision again. That why did you even start? And if you run into a wall, there are always solutions to everything in life. So go back, critically analyze if you've gone wrong anywhere, change your path, look at the alternatives and take another path, but don't give up.
Yeah.
So just take a step back, see the vision again, show the vision to everyone once again, the dream that made you take that step and that path. So dream again and take the step again.
Yeah, I think that's like a pause that recharges you again.
Yes, yes.
Okay, having learned most of the important things about leadership and etiquettes, and of course including some of your past examples, so one key takeaway. So if a listener, anyone who wants to lead, be it in a company, a classroom or their own life, what's that first mindset shift they need to make? Because we all know that everything starts from mindset, right? Everything starts from the right direction of the mindset. So what's that shift in the mindset you would recommend people?
You should be knowing where you are going. Then only will you be able to lead your entire flock to your vision. You will need to be expressive. You will need to be a good communicator. And you will need to connect with your team. Whether you call it empathy or EQ or in whichever way. You will have to be an extrovert so that you can softly, I'm not saying aggressively, but you will need to step out of your comfort zone. You will need to show your vision to your entire team and convince them, inspire them and take them along with you. So you will need to be at a higher level of activity.
So it's more about being active, and I think being proactive and not sitting back on the couch with the position, but it's more about that mindset of working hard no matter which position.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, I think that's important for our physical health too, that we are active mentally and physically.
Yes.
So that's super
yes.
important.
Yes.
All right. This question is specific to the virtual shifts that we are doing, especially after the post-pandemic. So in a post-pandemic world of hybrid work, where most of the things are digital, many of the meetings are digital, leaders are leading virtually, which leadership traits are non-negotiable for aspiring professionals, especially considering the virtual side of things?
All right. So, if you are talking about leadership in the virtual world, that's a completely different ballgame. Now, without your physical presence being there, but you have to communicate. Whether it is while you are seen, like I had mentioned earlier, whether you're being seen on VC or whether it is in the digital domain. But then your words are your weapon, and that is how you communicate. You have to choose your words very carefully. You have to be expressive in a way that conveys your intent without being misunderstood. So you will have to develop that art. And post-pandemic, yes, we are in a hybrid world, and it throws up a very different kind of challenge, because a lot of people are comfortable just going to office once in a week. Maybe they got comfortable doing that. But as we have seen lately, people have realized that the physical presence in office is equally, if not more important. So people are cutting back, companies are cutting back on work from home, but are focusing, giving work from home, but also presence in the office, which builds connect, builds the vision, retains the vision with one-to-one meetings. But the challenges are many, and in the virtual world, again, those challenges of being, communicative, we all need to master.
So be it virtual or be it in person, communicating the right thing at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Something which we all need to learn as individuals and professionals, and master it with time, because of course it's a practice that is ever growing and ever going. So working on communication is never vanity.
Whether it be emails or whether it be messages. So you need to choose the way you communicate, and at what time do you communicate. I mean, we should always make an endeavor not to invade anybody's privacy. Maybe weekends, unless it is an emergency, there is no need to communicate. So we need to respect our boundaries, because in the digital world, timing is like you can communicate at any point of time. So that kind of personal boundaries you have to be clear upon, so that not only do you lay down the clear boundaries, but everybody else is also comfortable.
Yeah. It's being mindful. I think it's being mindful about.
Being mindful.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because yes, you're right. Actually, in virtual, we lose the track of time, and the accessibility again we come to is
all the time,
much more than in person.
Yes.
So there we have to have that again. The discipline comes into the picture.
Yes.
That we need to be disciplined enough to be mindful and respectable about other person's time.
Other persons.
And I think that says a lot. That communicates a lot.
Yes.
That conveys a lot about your personality. And we are almost at the tail end of this entire conversation, and a very insightful episode on leadership and etiquette. And with this, I would love to just have a one takeaway, and then followed by a rapid fire, which is about your students especially. So for corporate recruiters listening, what differentiates a NIFT Patna graduate under your leadership? What is it, something that that is something being taught here that maybe people would love to know?
Yeah, so it's a very easy one to answer, and that does not need to be taught here. So the students from tier 2 cities have a hunger in them, which you may not find in tier 1 cities. So students from NIFT Patna, what I have observed is that I have a hunger for success. They will put in long hours, they are hardworking, they have a dream which they have to achieve, and that is what will set them apart. They will not be so fussy. They will give much more commitment to commitment, they will get much more commitment on the table than, students who are slightly more, you may say slightly more comfortable in metros. So in that way, NIFT Patna students will have an edge. Also, they have a lot of exposure here.
I think that encapsulates the strong qualities of
Yes.
students studying in tier 2 or any city where the privileges are comparatively less
Exactly.
than the metro cities.
Yes.
So yeah, this is one of the
Yes.
reasons we should have we should have team members and I would say resources from places as we have the
Yes.
answer here.
Yes.
All right. So with this, we end up with almost all our questions, and thank you for answering them so patiently and so detailed manner.
My pleasure.
We would love to go over like quick rapid fires, which is just something about you, something about your perspective towards leadership.
Yes.
So, one morning habit you never skip.
Gratitude. The first thing I do is thank God for whatever opportunities He has given, and to be blessed with a loving family and good health.
That is so humble, and I think that keeps us grounded too.
Absolutely.
Etiquette mistake you can't stand.
People not being humble. For example, we had our president, APJ Abdul Kalam ji, who, while being the president of India, was so humble that everyone had respect for him from their heart in a genuine way, not because he was a president. But here you meet sometimes in life people who may have achieved just a little bit, but then they get arrogant. And that is the etiquette which absolutely puts me off. Whoever you may be, whoever you are, stay humble.
Yeah. That again, I think, connects you more with people. You become for people. And
Yes.
the example that you mentioned, of course,
Yes.
Abdul Kalam.
Yes.
I think who else is the better example than that?
No better.
Because he lives in hearts. He
True.
lives in all of our hearts. So
Even today.
yeah, even today.
Even today.
And and I'm sure he will always. And that's one of the things that he was humble, and not because of the position, but because of the
Exactly.
person he was. He was
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, best leadership lesson from a superior you had from some of your seniors.
Yeah, so create opportunities. Don't wait for opportunities, like they say, opportunity knocks only once. No, you keep creating opportunities by taking steps or creating such situations in life or grabbing fleeting opportunities. That is up to you. So create opportunities where none exist.
One book every young leader should read.
7 Effective Habits of Successful People by Stephen Covey. So that would be one of the basic books that everyone should read.
All right. So yeah, no matter a leader, but I think as a
Yeah.
person, as an individual,
One of
we
the
should
starting.
that's all right. And what could you tell your 25-year-old self in any aspect in terms of just going back?
Yeah, so be confident and just dream big. Whatever you dream comes true. Even if I refer to that book, The Secret, but it is the truth of life. Whatever you want comes to you, and that is the secret of life. So if I was talking to my 25-year-old self, I would have told him, just dream, and it will come true.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Just have the right dream.
Yeah. Most underrated etiquette rule in virtual meetings, which you think is people are.
Turn on your camera. Be visible.
That's so true.
Yeah, people prefer to keep it off. Be visible, engage, and be there.
Yeah, that's you should be seen.
Be
That's
there, yeah.
And yeah, that's an important point. Actually, you always see people turn off the cameras.
Yes.
Sometimes even they're on mute and they're speaking. So I think those checks are very important. Be ready. Be presentable before.
Yeah, that also speaks that you put in a little bit of effort so that you could switch on your camera and you were ready to be there.
Yes, true. So one last one and we'll wrap up with this question. This is little personal, could be. So for students and professionals listening in, what's one military grade habit they can start tomorrow to improve their presence or poise?
So, one quality I would like to convey is be responsible. Take responsibility for whatever happens in your life, whether it is for good or bad. Be accountable to yourself. Don't blame others. I see in today's generation, people have a tendency to blame everyone around them for any kind of failure. I would say for everything good that is happening, it is because of you, and for any setback, that is also because of you. So have broader shoulders, be mentally stronger, and in success and failure, take accountability and responsibility on your own.
Yeah. And so do you think, so this is something which I would love to understand a little bit more,
Yes.
that taking responsibility, so what, I think we also misunderstand this, that taking responsibility of some projects or maybe some kind of, professional work, but I think it's important to start practicing it as a habit in the smallest of the things. If something happens
in
your home,
everything in your life,
yeah,
everything, every moment.
so how to start practicing, even in the slightest of the things? Any tips or any tricks on that?
Oh, that should just be your way of life. That should be your bent of mind. That should be in your, like they say, in your blood always. Whatever you are doing, you are responsible. So start by thinking like that the next day that you get up, and take onus on yourself for everything.
Yeah, that's I think that we wrap up with this beautiful rapid fire where we have a lot of takeaways from Rahul ji's personal life as well as how to implement them in the professional life too. So I think with this we wrap this episode, which is full of fun and wisdom regarding the two pillars, as I spoke earlier, the leadership and etiquette towards professional life, but not only as professionals, but as individuals, as humans, and as a successful person on all the aspects. Thank you, and subscribe and follow Poised Presence podcast for insightful episodes from real-time heroes like Mr. Rahul and many others who bring the real-life experiences and share with us to learn and grow as individuals, as professionals, and as humans. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.